Hello, it's Greta, and welcome to another one of my Vidreps. This time we have a free-for-all on Razor Ticket, which is a map I've seen before. I don't know, it looks awful. It looks like a Starcraft 2 map, so that's great. Anyway, hi, many thanks for commentating my last replay. Vidrep 125 Endearing Prey. I see. And here I'm sending my sixth game. I hope that it's better than the last time. Feel free to point out my mistakes, I will. Except low APM as I'm not professional. Well, I do enjoy watching your videos and try to learn from others' mistakes. Well, that's what they're here for. Okay, so for those of you who know my games by heart, you now know who sent me the replay, or if it's going to be, well, it doesn't really matter, really. Winners, losers, we're all friends in the end, right? Oh god, I lied, by the way. This is entitled Protoss versus Protoss, so we are going to see a Zerg versus Terran on Lost Temple. And yeah, so the map is quite incredible. We have a main in the Sea of Nothing. We have a single bridge, we have two bridges, we have three bridges, we have four bridges connecting a Sea of Nothingness. Good thing this is Protoss because, well, any other Zerg would have a field day, actually. But the rest will be fucked. So we have corner bases, who will never be used, and then we have bases that will never be used, and a natural somehow floating in the midst of nothingness there, and we have another expansion. So wow. Okay, the wonderful thing that happened though is that these two players were spawned on opposite sides of the divide. So welcome to one of the longest games I will ever commentate, and I hope you're sitting tight for the next 6 hours. Anyway. I was told, what was it? Feel free to point out mistakes except low APM. Well, your APM is extremely low, and it is a problem. Solve it. Saying that you're not a professional doesn't allow you to weasel out of that. Okay? A standard APM for a competitively minded casual Brood War player should center around, should orbit the area of 100 to 120. And that is baseline, I kind of want to play this game kind of APM. Okay? Okay. If you are better than that, if you want to improve and actually start seriously competing and learning build orders and not that kind of thing, then you're looking at 200 to 220. If you are a professional Brood War player, you're circling the heights of 350 to 400, and some people can actually achieve that. You know, the higher end competitive players will get that, because APM of course doesn't mean you know what the fuck to do with that kind of speed. It just means you are having a seizure. Yeah, but alright. So no, this APM is basically not playing the game APM. This is sitting back, leaning in your chair, playing the campaigns. Okay? That's what's happening there. I'm trying to figure out what's happening here, actually. We have a forge, we have a zealot, we have many things. Good! So yeah, no. Low APM, this is basically APM where you literally don't know what the game is about. And that's fine, you know, you can play games in this level, and I implore people to please spread the word and play the game. It's wonderful. But this is not using hotkeys, this is not using control groups, this is not building up a little bit of awareness. This is, you know, baseline. This is toddler. This is toddler. So no. I have been talking about 3 minutes now about how the fact that your APM is low. I think that's enough. This is good. This is, again, going to be quite an artistic base. You have all this opportunity to actually SimCity everything in a little cube or something, because, oh, we've got a scout going. We have a zealot, actually, and we have two zealots as the scouting thing. That's nice, because I don't think either has scouted. No, this is just... And I think they've played this map before, because they are going to the rough area, to where the bases might be. Funny enough, both of them are going to scout the upper right here, and find a single mineral, two minerals, and a geyser, So, and then they're going to go their separate ways. Okay, good. So yeah, cannons. I understand the need for cannons. Now that you've scouted this, you might want to, I don't know, besiege one of the 17 bridges. But it's going to be rather futile. So the cannons are wishful thinking in the direction that, well, any direction the attack could come from. Which is going to be really funny. And then, of course, placing the air quotes safe Cybernetic core in the north of your base. But the fact is that a literal 200 supply army could swoop around and you wouldn't see it. So this map is quite terrible. Terrible with many capital. The thing is with maps, yeah, because I tried to make maps at one point. See, this is a little more my taste. This is a cybernetic. That's not supposed to be here. That doesn't do anything but things on the ground. Yeah. So anyway, we've got 4 gateways. See, this is... I sense a bit more purpose in this base. The cyber core with the gateways building goons. I'm comfortable with that, and it doesn't matter what side the enemy will attack from because you have units that can move. And this, on the other hand, is an epileptic seizure of a base with many cannons that can't move and can be circled around. This is the funny quirk that this map has. Now, the thing of maps is this. Around 2003 or 4, I don't exactly remember when the patches was out, but there was a point where Brood War stopped being balance patched, and all the balance that followed came through maps. And there's an established archetype, the Lost Temple archetype of base, usually elevated or sunken, right, with a choke point, natural, mineral only. Yeah, those are the base configuration, because there's a lot of Blizzard maps that were built with no idea of what this game would one day become. But so we chose Lost Temple, some people chose Hunters, but sadly that didn't work out in terms of skill and general, you know, replayability, even though people are still playing Hunters. That's why no Hunters is so important, to fight that, even the undead spirit of the Hunters. But regardless, so you have an archetype. Now, over the years, several balance tweaks have been attempted. Yeah, maps like, what I remember when I was watching Brood War, like Katrina, for instance, and Othello and whatever. So they figured out like the perfect map from the Lost Temple iteration is basically Fighting Spirits. Fighting Spirits, like, there are still some imbalances, but most mortals won't see them, or you already have to be at a certain level or have certain flaws in your gameplay to really experience the imbalance of Fighting Spirit. But I think it's sitting around like an even 50% with some variation, maybe 55 to 60 or something in some matchups, but that's it. When you then look at this map, it basically shits on everything Brood War stands for and just ends it right there. Just, this is a mirror matchup, and I already feel the imbalances. You know, there's no reason why a base should be this open, especially considering people can go from side to side. Anyway, at this point, 8 minutes into the game, we have player interaction, where you have indeed the two strategies faced with each other, and we can see that moving units are somewhat superior to standing units, except of course if you're going to ignore those non-moving units and start firing at things that don't matter and then move into their range and not do anything. But still, somehow... Hang on, I haven't really been paying attention. Somehow, talking about the map, I wasn't really looking at the map. Okay. So we have also an expansion here. But what we have is a problem. Somehow we have 2 expansions. Take note that this is 1 expansion, so we've got the 3 base Protoss, and he's got probes camping into the outside bases, the stupid bases. And what exactly is your plan here, Blue? We have all of these units being produced. We've got a second wave incoming. We have about 30 supply deficit here. We have no production. Oh, this is going to be one of those games where I'm going to be very, very sad at the end, isn't it? These gateways again. Why would you ever place gateways at the like that? This is the correct way to do it. And even then, don't upgrade your cybernetics core weapon upgrades. They are for flying units. Anyway, we've got armor, we've got robotics, we've got temporal guards, we've got everything. Everything. And hopefully an attack that will end this swiftly. Yet somehow... Yeah, so what's happening here is I don't understand how this game will last another 3 minutes. We have these hardly being used expansions that are incredibly risky at a time where most of the static defenses have been taken out, and static defense is all there is. There's literally, I'm gonna say it, literally 4 zealots. There's 4 zealots here against the force that's double in size. There is no units being produced. There's 500 minerals in the bank for some, no, not a stupid reason. Well, yeah, it's a stupid reason to build another Nexus. How? Sidecar, how? How? You are teching to everything there is, but you have a force. Are you really simply going to sit here after dealing a significant blow to the enemy force, realizing he has cannons and not a lot of gateways? You must have seen that. You must have seen that. You are now ferrying these over and no longer producing units with 900 minerals and gas in the bank. This is incredible. What are you doing? What are you focusing on right now? What are you doing? Oh yeah, you're doing all the upgrades. Okay. And no production. Terrible thing. Now a flank where there is maybe 1 cannon unless you walk into the others and then chain your... Oh god, no. Are you going to randomly move a command instead? Yeah. Okay, you want feedback. I will tell you your feedback. This was supposed to end the game. This attack was supposed to end the game. And now let me tell you, when you attack, these zealots are still here. They're having a good time. They're going at the probes, but they're separated. All of this separated everywhere. Everything scattered around. Don't fucking do that. You picked a target, which is not the best target because you could have... This is all under 1 pylon. Well, maybe. Could have just... Mineral lines are kind of your thing. There is nothing to protect the mineral line except a couple of cannons. And if you would have focus fired and not let your units just go all over the fucking shop, then you would have won. Now, you have 1,000 minerals in the bank. Your idiot friend here has a 4th base that he's saturating. Somehow he doesn't have minerals. You do, because you weren't producing units. Always more important to produce units when you're not really that sure about the game yet. Okay. And again, sitting units here. Now, he's got quite a few zealots. They're unupgraded. So, 1-1. Kind of a big deal. 2 armor. Armor is a big deal to zealots because they have 2 attacks. So, that 16 is divided by 2 is 8. So, that's 6. That's only 12 damage. Is that correct? Sure. -4, yeah. Yet again, he is not producing units at all. With 600 minerals in the bank, he's got a couple of zealots. You, however, have minerals, but aren't producing. I see the problem here. He's allowed to live. He's gonna rebuild these or add to them. He's got a horrible advantage. A terrible advantage. He's got 5 bases and nothing else. You're gonna make more gateways. You don't have that many probes, actually. You're gonna mine out here soon. I don't know. Not producing. He's going for range on his goon. That's a good thing, but he's... How could you understand the concept of expansions to the point that you know you need many, but not have an iota of an inkling of having to build more gateways? Whereas you, Zygar, you have an idea, yes. You build more things, yes. And oh my god, that is the first thing. You went for 4 gates and a cybercore. That's the first thing you research, because that's the important thing. Because the goon is kind of important in the fact that you only had goons and a couple of zealots. But okay, I will forget that, though. There's an orbital tribunal. Attacking like this off of 2 base is again something... Why would you? But okay. There's scouting going on. There is an angle of attack. See, now you're giving him time. He hasn't been building units for 5 minutes. That's an eternity. Okay? 15 minutes is enough to max out to 200. Yeah? Just throwing that out there. But there were these strange pauses, like now, for instance, that you have 6 gateways that are completely idle when you have 2,000 minerals in the bank. Which hurts me inside. This little shitter, however, is producing off of gateways. Don't think that he's going to build them anywhere else. He has 2 gateways, and he is actually keeping on par with your production. He's actually surpassed you in production because most of his supply now consists of probes. He's keeping up with 2 gateways that he's got stacked momentarily because you have these strange lapses. Look at that. It's not even supply block. It's just not using what you have and spending it. And now, of course, having idle things and need to look for, hey, look, there's bases everywhere. Maybe a look in the corners, because that's another thing I want to get to. There is no way that, well, there's no way to tell, of course. There's no way to tell that this person has more income than he shows. Because you have, oh, that's so sad, that there are so many observers in the bases, and you think, why? How is it possible? How is he not surrendering yet? Because clearly I have the upper hand here. Because he only has 3 gateways now, right? But he has an equal force to yours because you're not using whatever you have. And now you're going to attack, and now everything's going to spread out. Because there's no control here. Look at that. The zealots are moving forward, the dragoons are staying back, the dragoons are fighting the zealots, and the zealots are being mopped up by other zealots and dragoons. Now the dragoons are alone, they are spread out in a diagonal fashion, and now are being engaged by the zealots, before, of course, also being peppered by the dragoons. He's not using his full force. And this is what makes me weep inside. It breaks my heart and reduces my life expectancy considerably. Because this gets my neck freaking rigid. This is where I would like to scream. Because you're breaking even with someone who shouldn't be alive. He has 1,000 observers just sitting there. He doesn't have rally points. No concept of rally points whatsoever. He's going to rebuild his photon cannons because somehow they are actually doing a good job. You are teaching him the wrong lesson. He should die. Instead, he thinks photon cannons are a good idea in this situation. And actually they are, because you're just moving in and then now you're producing units. No, actually you're not. You're not producing units. You have 400 mils in the bank. You need to still expand. You're going to expand not once, but twice. Yeah, okay, not taking the gas. We're not going to start about gas because I'm already halfway an aneurysm. Again, upgrading the attack on What exactly? This is not for goons. It looks like it, but this is actually the thing that scouts shoot. Okay? So all air. This is air. Yeah? Not goons. No, it's a little silly. I know this looks like the zealot thing, yeah? But it's for everything on the ground. Look, there's a +2 here, and that is not what this is. Yeah? Alright, just making sure. As I was saying, he hasn't learned a thing. He's not even producing units. He's on 77 supply, and he's actually on par with you, but that's mostly due to his probe count, which is disgusting, and he has got 8,000 in the bank. 8,000, and a miracle has happened. And he's building the slowest unit in the game. He has gateways peppered around. Very difficult to see what his actual production is, I will agree, but it's absolutely stupid. Now he's going to build some gateways. He's going to build gateways while you are building units again, but not to your full capacity. Even though 1,000 minerals is... That's a lot. Yeah, 1,000 minerals banked is quite a lot. If you are such a semi-professional player, then that would be a death sentence. But don't worry, your opponent has 8,000 in the bank. And once more we will see the zealots push forward into oblivion, being tower defensed, while the dragoons are doing marginal damage. Again, beating the still breathing corpse of someone whose name I will never even pronounce. Now, this is the weird thing though. He's quite happy to sacrifice the gateway and the forge because he's made more. You see, this is redundancy at work. He's actually producing units now. Stacking them, of course, 5, because suddenly panic, and all you build is zealots 5 stacks high. Whether this could have been 5 gateways, and he would have had enough to spare for a full 200 supply carrier armada. So now this is still doing damage somehow. You know, because he's not really doing anything, because, hey, he ran out of units. He's building zealots, however, that are coming out one by one. What are you doing in the meantime? Not reinforcing and not building units. Again, a cardinal sin. He's got an Archon, yeah. He's got an Arbiter now, watch out. And now, I hope, it will dawn to Zycar. No, it hasn't yet. It hasn't dawned on him to absolutely not. He has vision of the... Oh, this is sad. This is so sad. He has no vision of the corners whatsoever. He thinks he's done. He thinks he's done. He sees the probes here, and he... Surely, there must be some bell wrinkling somewhere. Ringling somewhere. Ringing somewhere? Yeah, ringing somewhere. Wrinkle is the Dutch word. Rinkelen. Rinkelt een belletje ergens. Dat misschien nog iets is dat hij gemist heeft. Because now he's going to send out his multitude of observers. Because yes, indeed there is still something he has missed. Because now, suddenly, there are 3 forges. There is robotics, and of course many zealots being stacked. Again, and a bit of a thing here, yeah. Somehow, with 8,000 minerals in the bank, that's a good score. Even for free-for-alls, that is somewhat of a bank. We could start calling that a bank. Now he's going to make gateways. Now suddenly some kind of genetic memory springs to mind. Like, with this amount of unit, I have so much to replace and I am behind in army, so why not? Why not build gateways and produce units? It'll be glorious. What are you doing in the meantime? That air attack again. Nothing coming out of the air attack making machine yet, but okay. And no units being produced. Even though you have 2,000 in the bank now. And you have an ample amount of expansions, I'm not mad. You're not mining gas. Okay, so now, an assault. Once more, your positioning is awful. There is no existence of micro whatsoever. And the superfluous stasis that will actually help. And now all of these gateways, because this is the difference between you and your opponent, he does use the gateways. I say this in a very perverse way, but he does use the gateways. Are you producing anything up on the gateways? No, you are not. And this is a very funny thing, Zycar, that I'm going to tell you. By the way, Zycar is the guy who sent me the replay, man, just so you know. The thing is, my dear friend, that you, with your 42 APM, send in your forces into oblivion, and then watch them die, because you are almost not microing them. Especially in the case of the Goon, you want to be microing the shit out of those little shitters, because they are awful, they are horrible things, they have no mind, they will die the moment you avert your gaze. So there. In the meantime, however, you are using your ample APM to destroy some of the expansions, which is very good. That the ones that you have now found. This is also very pointless and a total waste of time. So in the meantime, you might want to build some units, because that's how you beat your opponent. So, as I was saying, you spend no APM on building units, you spend no APM on actually moving your units during combat. So what exactly are you doing? You're actually waiting for your APM to tick down, I guess, because to maintain this, you see every time it goes up one, yeah, that's something you did. But now again, these guys are no longer on your control. I wonder what you're doing right now. You're sending these guys over there. Yes, okay. Now you are building units. And once more +1 attack on air, which does nothing. Shields as well, wonderful. But you are 3 and 3. I will applaud that, because your friend here, with the biggest bank ever, has 1-1-1, which is stupid. But in 26 minutes in, it's quite silly. Right, so I don't know why you did this. Maybe in advance. This is not Supreme Commander, so you had money to spare, but perhaps you, well, maybe for the first time, finally going to get above 100 supply. The game goes to 200 supply, and it is appropriate that in games that go over 26 minutes, you see that 200 supply. Either one of the players wants to see that 200 supply. It's not a cap, it is a goal. Yes? It is not an inevitable, well, a overflow mechanic or whatever. No, no, no. It is that which you want to strive for. Anyway, meanwhile, this guy is making units off of the incessant bank. He's actually got 4,000 minerals gone already, because now, sadly, all of his expansions have been taken care of. Sorry I missed that, a little excited plot twist. But alright, you are now making units. Very well done. And so, suddenly, again, the armies are almost equal. So, this is still very much up in the air. With all of that, with the absolute opposite of play, well, yeah, let's call it play style. With the absolute opposite. Banks versus no banks. Production versus no production. Buildings versus no buildings. We are now seeing this glorious last engagement, which now we see the mistake. My god! There's look at the micro! 2 of the dragoons being microed make all the difference, as our friend Nick is not engaging with half of his forces. Isn't that wonderful? And now they do, as new units stream forth. We have again some semblance of micro. No, we don't. Yes, yes, we do. We suddenly have micro. Psycho, look at that, skirting past the 40 APM mark, almost reaching the anemic heights of 60, almost. I was going to hypoxic heights. Is that the word? Yeah, I'm sure it is. The hypoxic heights of 60 APM was almost reached there. Yet sadly enough, the battle was lost, but not yet the war. As the bank slowly but certainly. Oh yeah, that's the spirit, man. Nick, that's the spirit. Two gateways with all goons. Where are these fuckers going? Engage! No, they're just gonna use the completely planned. Yeah, there's 2 zealots now, and yeah, he's not producing anything else. He's unpowered this now because all of this was, of course, on a single pylon. Yes, this one still operational. Now suddenly 4. Yeah, it's a little late for that, mate. A little late. It does go to 60 APM clicking that. Super, yeah. I mean, again, there was no reason why this would have been over. I would have thought it was going to go the other way, but suddenly he just decided to stop making units. And then 2 arbiters. Is that a language? And he's given up now, so with a... It does go... Vidrep. Vidrep? That almost sounds like Vidrep. Is a language with... Oh! I'm watching Vidrep, it teaches a lot. Ooh! If you learn a lot from watching me, mate. Well, I have berated you for the last 30 minutes, so... There you go. You should watch. I'm going to send replay. Gee, that makes me feel bad. I hope the other guy doesn't speak English. But I must say he's a very fascinating specimen. I've never seen someone... Well, yes, no, that's not true. I've seen too much shit. I've seen too much. But the disconnect in skill was... Yeah. All of that money. And eventually he did die with, you know, 4,000 spent. And he was still mining, but... Seriously, like 2 gateways of... I don't know. There is potential in both these players. But Jesus Christ. Anyway. So Zykar sent me a replay. He won. Sent to me June the 7th. Wow, okay, that was also very much time ago. But anyway. I hope... I don't know what to hope. Yeah, I do know. I hope you never play this map again. Please never play this map again. Fighting Spirit might be boring to many people, but never play this map again. Alright. GG's. Oh, God.